Good evening and happy muggy Monday. It's hot outside here in the Delta. Welcome to Moments with Mary. I hope you had a pleasant weekend. I did. I continue to offer a gratitude of thanks to our healthcare professionals, essential workers, and caregivers for continuing to take care of us. But remember, be careful and take care of yourselves. Today, I will continue and share a few snippets from Snippets of Truth by Mary Hardy. I wrote these snippets several years ago. So I'll share 2 or 3 of them with you today. I shared some earlier for the month of early May or June with you. So I'll share a few more. And I'm wearing this hat today because one of my sisters gave it to me for my birthday, and she said she wanted to see it. But it's also fitting for the first snippet that I'll read. And it's entitled, Dress for the Sun. Growing up, we had to work the fields of our farm. Daddy always planted at least 9 acres of cotton. He never said so, but we always figured that he planted 1 acre for each sibling to take care of. No matter the task, we worked together to get the job done. It was early to the field, often before the sun up, and late back home, often after 5 o'clock. Lunch was very exciting, as it was set for noon, and Mama always came out to prepare the meal. It would get very hot before that time, but we were mentally prepared for the heat. Mama always made sure that we were dressed for the sun. We are very blessed to not have skin cancer because Mama was proactive by insisting that we wear long sleeve shirts, long pants, and a hat to the field. So that's why I said this hat is kind of fitting for this piece, Dress for the Sun. And the second piece is Sunday shoes. I think I mentioned the Sunday shoes earlier in a piece that I read last week. And the Sunday shoes. The black patent leather shoes waited in the same place from one Sunday to the next, unless there was a revival going on during the week. They were referred to as the Sunday shoes because they were only worn on Sundays and because we polished them with bacon oil. It was a delight to have bacon on Sunday mornings because most of the time we had fried fish or fried chicken with gravy and rice. If there was no bacon, we used oil from the chicken to shine the patent leather shoes. We also used the oil from the bacon and chicken to moisten our legs and other areas of the body that needed to look smooth and shiny. And that's Sunday shoes. The next piece is riding the school bus and getting frostbite or frostbitten. My siblings and I rode the bus to school each and every morning for more than 30 miles. During the winter months, it was miserable. The bus did not have very much heat, if any at all. By the time we arrived at school, my feet would be very cold and frozen, or felt like they were frozen. And by evening, they would be itching. My mother indicated that they were frostbitten. My feet would hurt and itch for several days before the cycle of freezing on the bus ride and thawing at school would continue throughout the winter. And that's riding the school bus and getting frostbitten. The next piece is a dear piece in that Daddy always bought a truck. And it was nine of us. So we had to ride on the back of the truck. So I wrote this piece entitled, My Grandfather and the Car. My daddy always had a truck because he was a farmer. We used a truck for everything, work and leisure travel, even for driving to church. It was convenient because we could spread out and sit in the back with the tailgate down and on the side. Where you sat depended on your age. My daddy was very careful and cautious. He kept his eyes focused on the steering wheel, Mama, and those of us riding on the back of the truck. Of course, Mama didn't have to ride on the back of the truck. We had a fun time talking and visiting with each other as we traveled to church. My maternal grandfather did not like the idea of the girls riding in the back of the truck. He indicated that we were getting dusty and that our hair was blowing out of place. He shared his information with my daddy, and it was not long after his conversation that my grandfather purchased a car for us. It was a green 4-door Plymouth. It was supposed to protect our mother and his grandchildren from the elements. He was a thoughtful and caring grandfather, never to be forgotten. Of course, my dad was the driver, but he did not like it because it was crowded. We kept the car, but mostly used the truck. And that's my grandfather and the car. The next piece is entitled Parching Corn. After harvesting season, the crib was full of corn, real corn, for many days. It was an adventure to go to the crib and look for small ears of corn to pop for popcorn. If not all of the kernels popped, it parched and was crunchy. We added salt to give it flavor. Daddy could not face or stand the crunchy sound, so we just kept our distance from him while eating. It was a delicious nighttime treat. To this day, popcorn is one of my favorite snacks. And the next piece is cooking biscuits on the open fire. It is a kitchen chore to prepare the biscuits and place them in a pan to be baked in the oven. However, if you have done it many times, it gets easy. My mother did this many times using the oven in the kitchen. But when the butane gas was out, she would place the biscuits on the open fire or on the wood heater in Papa's room. Papa's room was a special place because it had a sofa. My mother would allow the biscuits to brown on one side and then turn them again and again until they were done. When they were brown on both sides and done, they were delicious. Even better than the biscuits baked in the oven. The biscuits were always good with bacon sausage, and syrup. Very, very delicious. We also roasted potatoes on the open fire. And I have a piece entitled Roasting Potatoes on the Open Fire. Building a fire on a winter's morning was always an eventful chore. The person in charge had to start the fire that had to burn all day and into the night. During the day, my grandfather would roast sweet potatoes for a snack. And during the evenings, we would sit around the open fire and roast them for dinner. These potatoes were the best. And the last piece I'll share is reading The Progressive Farmer. I read The Progressive Farmer early because I had learned to read by observing my dad and grandfather read the magazine. It arrived in the mail once per month and was a jewel for our house. Sometimes this was the only book we had because the public library in our small town was off limits to us. But we learned to read anyway. Today, children have so many books. Today, you don't have to have an excuse not to read. If I was able to learn to read by observing my grandfather and father read The Progressive Farmer and listening to my mother's advice, you can learn to read with the resources available in your immediate reach. And those snippets came from Snippets of Truth, written by Mary Hardy. I want to thank you for watching and listening today. Please take care of yourself, mask, laugh, and exercise. Continue to speak up with dignity. Pray for peace and justice. Continue to pray for my mother. She is feeling better. I want to say happy birthday to all July birthday persons, especially for my Sora Ludi Mott, whose birthday is today. So again, I want to thank you for listening. I love you. I hope to see you on Wednesday, and goodbye. Bye-bye.